So how often should you change your workouts? Should you change them every 4 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, 16 weeks? The truth is, it doesn't really matter. So if you're absolutely loving a workout plan and you're continuing to make progress on it, there's no reason for you to stop. But if you're someone who really enjoys changing up the workout plan every 4 weeks, or maybe the first of every month, no matter what day of the week that falls on, kudos to you. Go for what suits you best. And really, there's no reason you need to stick with a 4-week block there, whether it's 4, 8, 12, or 16. You can change your workout plan every 5, 6, 7, 9, 10 weeks, whatever your heart desires, whenever you're feeling ready to make that change. Now, when I first started getting into workout programming in the early 90s there, university, I took human kinetics. Part of that was fitness program design. This was like my go-to book here, serious strength training, where it was my first exposure to viewing a big picture outlook when it came to my overall training programming. And with that book, they went in 6-week blocks. So you'd follow a training plan for 6 weeks, and then you'd have 1 week where it was a transition phase, just nice, take it easy there, then another 6-week block. The thing with that plan, that particular plan that they had in that book, is like you would stick with a certain style of training for 6 weeks. So not only was it a certain training split that you're following, a program that you're following for 6 weeks, but the focus for that 6 weeks might be on strength. Then you have a transition phase. The next 6 weeks, it might be a focus on hypertrophy. The next phase might be more metabolic, and the next one might be a combination, like a hybrid of them both. So you not only were you changing your split, you were changing how you were approaching your training there, the kind of goal, the purpose of that training block there. Now, in recent years, you got Brad Schoenfeld, the Max Muscle Plan here. In his book, his training phases last for 4 weeks, and he'll change it up to a different split after that. So it might go from full body to an upper lower split, or it might go from like upper lower to push pull legs. There was like a chest back, a different kind of split in there. So basically every 4 weeks they're changing their plan. And again, it all works. I basically, for the most part, like those early years, I was doing the 6-week split. I really loved that kind of approach. And I was changing it from a hypertrophy focus to a strength focus. I really liked that in my early years. So in the 90s, maybe early 2000s, that's how I was approaching my training. Then I switched more to like every 4 weeks, every month as kind of switching up my plan. So some plans, it would be 4 weeks, some would be 5 weeks, depending on how the weeks, like how the first of the month fell. So if it falls on a Wednesday or a Thursday, I might like extend a plan, one of those plans, for 5 weeks, and the next plan might be for 4 weeks there. So I wasn't like, every month I like to change things up, but it wasn't like exactly a 4 week. Sometimes it was 5 weeks there. So I did that for years and years. And then for the past 6 years, I took a bigger picture approach and stuck with a training split for 8 to 16 weeks. And what I would do in that regards would be like, for the first 4 weeks, just keep it nice, straight sets, lower volume. The next month, I might increase the volume a little bit, so add some more sets in there, or maybe add an exercise. I might throw in the following month, I might throw in an intensity technique like drop sets, and then the month after that, switch up that intensity technique and maybe do rest pause sets. So always kind of ramping up the volume over time and then pull it back with a new training split starting from the beginning and then ramping myself back up. Loved that approach, but not all training splits can accommodate a higher volume. So if you're doing like a body part split routine, even like a push-pull leg split, if you're only training 3 days per week, you're not going to be able to get enough volume, like higher volume in that workout. You're not going to have as many quality sets in there. So according to the research, like really we're looking at, well, the first set's going to be our best set. Every set after that starts to decline in its effectiveness. And I kind of find the sweet spot for myself personally, a lot of clients, like doing maybe 4 to 6 sets for a muscle group in a workout should be the max for the most part. If I'm just doing a body part split routine, maybe I can get away with upwards of 10 sets when I'm really pushing a high volume. But knowing that like those last 5 sets aren't going to be nearly as effective as the first 5 sets. So there's a decline in the effectiveness there. So I'm just pushing the volume for the sake of volume, but when I'm getting up there, like beyond the 6 sets, really I think beyond 5 sets for a muscle group in a workout, it's always better to spread that volume over multiple workouts there. So I think it's great if you're going to start with a lower volume and perform maybe 4 to 6 sets for a muscle group per week. If that's your goal right now, you could do a body part split routine. If you want to bump it up to 8 sets for a muscle group per week and maybe 10 sets per muscle group per week, you could do an upper lower split the next month. And then if you want the next month, I want to increase my volume even more, maybe get up to 12 sets per muscle group per week, maybe do a full body workout where you're training each body part 3 times per week with 4 sets. So each of those sets are going to be more effective. You're going to get more out of those sets because you're spreading it out across multiple workouts throughout the week. So that's really the way I like to approach the rationale for changing my workouts. The argument for changing a workout plan every 4 weeks, the argument against that would be like, well, it takes me a few weeks to get into a groove with a training plan. And it really, I ask you to question yourself, to really sit and think, does it really take you a few weeks to get into a groove with a training plan? For the most part, you're gonna be doing a lot of the same exercises. They'll say, well, I gotta takes me a few weeks to find the right weight to use for the exercise. I'm like, okay, you've been doing dumbbell bench press for every single workout plan for the past 6 months. Like, you should know what kind of weight you're gonna be lifting for the dumbbell bench press. And if you're a little unsure, you lift up the weight. Say you crank out 14, 15 reps where you got like 1 to 2 reps in reserve. You're like, ideally, I want to keep it to 10 repetitions to 12 repetitions for this exercise. All right, increase the weight the next set. It doesn't have to take you 3 weeks to figure out how much weight you're going to lift, like what's going to get you into a good groove, the weight that you lift for that particular exercise. You're not changing up every single exercise every time you change up a workout plan. There's going to be a lot of the same foundational exercise that you're going to keep in there, staple exercise that you're going to keep in your training plan for the long term. And maybe just introduce swap out an exercise here and there. And even then, say it's been 2-3 months since you've done a certain exercise, you should still have a pretty damn good idea of how much weight you're going to lift for that exercise, what you've done in the past. And again, that first set, you pick up the weight. If it's too heavy, all right, the next set, you go lighter. You're going to find it in the groove. It's not going to take you weeks to figure out the weight that you need to lift to really get you into a groove with that plan. So again, it really comes down to what's going to allow you to give the best of yourself to your training, to keep your effort sky high, your enthusiasm sky high, and how are you able to, again, it's going to come down to training volume. What's the best split for you? There's no reason why you can't, if you love full body workouts, you can do 2 sets per muscle group per week. If you just want to start off with 6 sets for a muscle group per week, all right, 3 workouts, 2 sets for each muscle group in that workout. That's freaking awesome. The next month, you keep your full body routine and do 3 sets for each muscle group in the workout. And 4 sets, you can ramp it up upwards of 12 sets per muscle group per week. I think is going to be fantastic with that full body routine. Again, with the upper lower split, there's no reason why you couldn't do 2 sets per workout, starting off with like 2 or 3 sets per muscle group per exercise, and then ramp it up over time as well. But I really like that idea. It's something that I've done over a decade ago when I created the aesthetic muscle plan. There was a 16-week plan, was 4 different training splits in that, and it was all a way to challenge your body in different ways, to ramp up the training volume and then dial back the training volume, just challenge the muscles in different ways there. And that's kind of the approach that I'm going back to now. Again, there's no right or wrong. Again, like I said, I really liked sticking with a training split for 12 weeks, even 16 weeks, and just making subtle changes, maybe swapping out an exercise here and there, increasing the volume a little bit over time, swapping out an intensity technique here and there. It was great for the past 5-6 years. So if that's something that you enjoy, that's freaking awesome. There's no right or wrong here. But if you do enjoy switching up your training split every month, that is fantastic. If you find that's what keeps your enthusiasm sky high, keeps you progressing, because you're keeping a lot of the exercises the same, you can still progress on those exercises month after month, even though it's a different training split, but you find that just that change in the split keeps your enthusiasm going, keeps you wanting to give more. You're like, this is freaking awesome. I know I'm only going to be following this split for 4 weeks. I love this split. I'm going to give everything I got. Then you change it up and you're like, oh, I love this change. This change feels great. And nice to kind of spread the volume out a little bit more across multiple workouts. This feels amazing. I can give even more because I'm not doing so many sets for a muscle group in this workout. I'm going to crush each set. And then again, you spread it out a little bit more, like this is even better. And you just feed off of all of it. There's so many benefits to all the different training splits out there. And again, a lot of it comes down to your enthusiasm, what you're able to give to each workout there. And just keeping this game, keeping it exciting, keeping it fun, keeping it fresh in a way that's going to suit you best. And keeping it fun might be for you, again, keeping it, extending a plan for a little bit longer. And again, it doesn't have to be 4 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, or 16 weeks. You can stick with the plan every 5 weeks, 7 weeks, whatever. Whenever you're feeling ready to make that change, make that change. So don't overthink this at all. Just have fun with your training. That's really what it's all about.